most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today we're going to go over the best all-in-one wrist and finger exercises after broken wrists, surgery, or cast removal, or maybe all three.
Right, it very well could be all in one that way.
Before we do this, though, by the way, if you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, you're going to want to, believe me, join us on our social media channels on our website, bobandbrad.com, because we're always giving something away, and we're doing a doozy this week.
Oh, yes.
We're giving away the SleepOvation mattress.
Right.
And some of their pillows. And they just came out with these pillows. These are awesome. They actually have springs inside them, and they got foam on top, these foam panels. Very comfortable. Yeah, Brad's showing the spring, but you don't feel them. I swear to God, you don't feel them.
No, you don't.
And the pillow, actually, it's a nice looking pillow, and it folds up like this, and it's cool.
Right.
And it's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. If you want to also find it, it's on Facebook, Bob and Brad. And if you go to Instagram and Twitter, we'll do the shortened version of our program. All right, Brad, take it away.
Okay. Bob, after, wrist injuries, fractured wrists, surgeries on the wrist, pretty common.
Yeah, it is, especially with the slippery season's coming up here.
Exactly.
A lot of people are going to go down on the ice.
Right. And we've had a few videos on strengthening. They do quite well. And we've got something here that I think people should know about, particularly if you want to get your wrists strengthened back, if you're
if you work in maybe labor, or
right,
you rely on your strength, or let's say you're an athlete.
Right. If you're a golfer, if you're playing hockey,
bowling,
right.
Pickleball.
Anything where you want a good grip.
Did you know that pickleball is really
I have heard a little bit about it. I like pickles. I like to eat them. Anyways,
they're a ball.
Typically in the past, there's grip strengtheners like this with the rubber bands, and they're nice, but they only strengthen pretty much the fingers. They don't address the wrist very much.
The ball too, if you squeeze a ball.
Right. They're good ways to get started. And go ahead, Bob.
For the wrist,
the dumbbell is
but generally
good.
You start with you keep the forearm supported, and you're going to work on wrist flexion this way. You can do ulnar deviation, radial deviation that way, and then you can do wrist extension.
And these work okay, but you got to buy a number of different weights as you get stronger. And they're not very portable. If you want going on vacation for a week, you want to throw these in there.
And this is good just for wrist. It's not good for strengthening the grip.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to combine it. So we actually got this product that was invented by a rock climber.
Yep, an engineer and a rock climber.
Right. So he has had the capability, and he knew what was needed. And it looks kind of like an oddball thing, but once you learn how to use it, you can see the benefits. So after you get your cast off and the surgeon says, go ahead, get it moving, start strengthening as tolerated. You're going to want to start out low naturally. That's the beauty. One of the beauties of this is you can start out low. You can see we got 4 loops, resistant bands, really nice
Again,
ones.
I would emphasize again, this is probably not for the elderly person who's going back into it. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're in your 60s or 70s, this is probably going to be overkill for you.
Unless you're pretty active.
Unless you're pretty active, unless you want to go back to golf or stuff like that, then yes.
So to start out with, is you put it around your foot. You do it in a seated position, like what we call the 90-90 position. You're going to use your thighs and your forearms as a base, and you're going to go down and let your fingers extend. So you could just do finger strengthening like this, but we recommend this and the wrist flexion. And we've only got 1 loop on there. It's pretty easy resistance.
This is pretty easy resistance with 1 loop. I mean, it's a good start.
Right. Now, another big advantage, Bob can keep doing it. Say this is a sore wrist. The big advantage of this is the strong wrist helps the sore wrist. They're working together. It's called a crossover effect in therapy, which you cannot do with these two. It works one at a time. So that's a big advantage to this, particularly with rehab of a wrist.
Well, the other thing is continuous resistance.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you get beyond a certain point, and it's no longer resistance hardly anymore. And then of course going down, it's not resistance unless you do it slowly.
Right.
But this, it's a band, so it's going to be continuous resistance the
Right.
entire time.
Now, the nice thing too is we got flexion. Now we're going to go this way and we get some radial deviation, which is nice to work without changing positions, just changing your wrist. And then you turn palm down and you work wrist extension. And of course, grip doesn't affect so much this way, but that's not so functional, particularly in
Well,
daily
part of the thing of
activities.
grip, though, Brad, as you know, when you grip, your wrist goes into extension. So you in order to increase your grip, you got to increase the ability of the wrist to extend.
Sure.
So
And that's what we're doing here.
that's what we're doing there.
Let's say you've been at this and you went from, you know, 1, and then you can go to 2, and then you can put 1 on each side, and that's a step in the right direction for strengthening. And again, you're going to do typically for wrist, I'm going to suggest starting out 10 repetitions each way. As you get stronger, you may want to go 15, 20 repetitions, or you could do more depending on your desires.
And you want to make it easier, Brad. As you can see, I'm a tall guy, so I actually have it between my thighs
Yep.
like this, and I'm down here.
Right.
So if you did the same thing, yeah, you'd
Yeah.
have hardly any resistance at
Right.
all, right?
Yep.
So
That, it's extremely easy to vary the resistance.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
and if I go up
device.
here like Brad, then I'm really working.
Right.
And so
And for those people who are strong like bull and
Yeah.
really need a good grip,
and
then
if they're in the later stages of rehab here,
Mhm. Then you're going to use all 4 tubes, and then it really works those wrists. So I think this is going to cover the vast majority of even the strongest individuals.
well, again, the thing that's nice about it is it does cover it in 3 planes. I mean, how often can you work something like this?
Right.
Not very easy.
Yeah.
And like this, there is, if you want to even go a little crazy, you can put it around your shoulder like this and go the other way. You can do the
Yep, that
the
way you get
ulnar-
yep,
yeah,
the ulnar deviation
Yeah.
versus the radial. That's very complete.
Yeah.
Some people may be interested in that.
Yeah.
So, Bob, once again, I really.
How many reps we're going to mention?
Well, yeah, reps. I think I mentioned
Did
that.
you say it?
Yep,
Okay.
10 reps. You could get up to 30. It depends. If you really want that really strong grip, increase resistance, less repetition. If you're doing something throughout the day that requires not
I'm
so
going to
much
put together a
strength,
warning though, Brad, because
What?
I used this every day for a while.
Yeah.
That was too much.
that's because you're using too much resistance.
I
Bob.
know. I talked to the guy who invented it, and he was a younger guy at the time
Yeah.
when he used it, and he used it every day, and like, oh
Well,
yeah,
he's
it
a
was fine.
rock climber.
Well, he's a rock climber, and so I did it every day, and I got so sore I had to
Yeah.
back off for like a month.
Right.
So it really is like any other lifting. You may want to do it
Every
2 or
other
3 times,
day.
or every third day even.
Sure.
So
And after an injury, you may go really light, and that you want to get some advice from a therapist. Bob, why are you playing
yeah,
like
we'll
that?
put a link below, and if you use that link below, we'll give you 15% off. We'll make
Oh,
sure you do,
yep.
because you're part of the Bob and Brad team.
There you go.
So
Enjoy and get strong.